Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, man.
Happy Tuesday, my brother. Happy Tuesday. Another one in the books.
Not yet. Soon.
Soon.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of the StoryForge podcast. I am your co-host, Gabriel Rathweg, and next to me is my co-host,
Dominique Mondesir.
All right. And we are two ridiculously silly gentlemen who are going to attempt and succeed at creating a live fantasy novel off the top of our heads. We're going to tag team a idea and throw it back and forth, massage it, whittle it into shape for your viewing pleasure on the fly, just making stuff up. And we'll see how it goes. It's been so fun. It's so far so good. It's episode 1 was pretty good. Episode 2 was rough, and now we're at episode 3. You know, there's only up from down, brother.
There's only up from down. Sounds very sexual, but there's only up from down. There's only up from down. We've got a treat for you guys today. I can't wait to get into it. But before that, how are you?
Bro. I am phenomenal. Life's good. It's hard to be that guy who's like, fuck, dude, everything's great. I woke up today. Sky's blue. Fucking air's great. Wife's great. Cats are great. Family's good. But yeah, man, things are awesome.
What can you want? What can you want?
Well, the adoration and acceptance of my peers, the acceptance of millions of fans around the world, all combined with, you know, the ultimate culmination of the acknowledgement of my talent by, you know, like a Nobel Prize or something. But besides that,
fair. Besides that,
absolutely nothing.
Okay.
But you, man. At the risk of having witty banter, how's your life going, brother?
I am not bad, my friend. I am not bad. It's a very rare day that we've got a blue sky in the UK. Temperature's good. I'm just about to send off my second book to Aphon, Destroyer of Gods. Book 1's on pre-order. Shameless plug. But yeah, life is good. I've been cracking up like a weirdo every so often about things we see on this podcast. Ridiculous, absurd, cancelable things that we see on this podcast. And I say to everyone before, just jokes, ladies and gents. Just jokes. Please, no one get offended.
You know what's funny is if we had started this podcast like 4 years ago, we would be like famous as fuck. Like seriously, like 100%. Like this is the shit we say. Like, and we'd be like super good at it by now. And like,
we probably would be.
You know,
we probably would be.
But
well, here's to the next 4 years.
Well, 100%. But also, I don't want to be a famous podcaster. I'm sorry to say. I know you want to be like rich and a millionaire, billionaire, zillionaire podcaster aficionado that can't walk down the street and not be mobbed by his adoration, adoring fans. Yeah, I want to be an anonymous writer who sits on like the Argentinian Riviera in my $1 million mansion, watching my herd of cattle in the distance, sipping my espresso, and nobody knows who I am.
The thing is, no one knows. Even Stephen King can walk down the street. No one gives a fuck. No one, maybe J.K. Rowling, maybe, but no one cares about writers. Even if we do get famous for being writers, no one gives a fuck.
Right, but this isn't writing. This is podcasting. People look at these people and they go, "Oh, hey, I know you. We're friends. Hey, I see you podcast every day. We're good. We're friends, all right?"
Well, hopefully, we have good, respectful fans and listeners.
No, we won't. We're gonna have. Hey, have you? Real quick segue. Have you ever watched that dude Tony from Hong Kong who does the sign store?
No. What?
Oh god! Look up Tony from China, from Hong Kong. He's got this like sign store.
Oh yes.
I love it. I love it. It's so funny.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. Slicing. No, yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yes.
Yeah. All right.
He's the G.
I think that's enough banter, witty banter. Let's get on with the story, man. We're what? How long we in? We are 5 minutes in, 5.5
All right,
minutes
let's get on.
in.
Go on. I can tell you issues.
Episode 3, the story. Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, I cut you off. I'm not the boss. We are equal partners. You
No,
know, and
why?
I
It's
know
just-
that I have white guy confidence, but do not feel as if I'm stepping on your toes, my friend. Do not feel.
I love that white guy confidence. All right, let's go. You take it away.
All right. So, this is episode 3 of the StoryForge podcast. Previously on the StoryForge podcast, episode 1, Outlander, began with our main characters, John Johningston and Ryan Sinclair. One, an aging, out of shape, and morally not quite bankrupt, yet not quite not bankrupt, physical therapist, and one, a past his prime, physically unhealthy, horribly disgusting to look at, not to mention smell, prize fighter who is giving it his last hurrah in the underground fighting arenas. By a sequence of events during the battle, or during the prize fight, a earthquake hits the underground bomb shelter-like place they were fighting in, and Ryan Sinclair, the prize fighter, grabs the out-of-shape sidekick and drags him full speed out of the underground area. Upon exiting the shaking arena, the pair emerge into a bright blue sunlit glade, grassy field with dozens upon dozens of green, brown, putrid, puke-colored, goblin-like creatures shouting guttural threats and other less savory things at them, while also both men find out they are not the same as they were when they left the underground arena. One, Ryan Sinclair, during a battle, a brief scuffle or kerfuffle with a orc, ends up finding out that he is now 19 again, prime of his youth, physically perfect in every way, shape, or form, and has the ability to regenerate his health when injured. To what extent is not known. The other character, John Johningston, also known as Sam the Man, has found a unique and somewhat mystical ability that has something to do with him humming and singing songs while prancing and dancing like a fool, being the catalyst to him casting magical spells. After the scuffle with the orcs and the goblins is handled by the pair, they meet a night company. The night company is headed by a commander named Peter Fuckface. And after a brief contest of wills, the night company leaves after giving directions to Ryan and Sam, the man. They journey to a rundown, dilapidated, old medieval-style village filled with excrement, all sorts of filth and disgustingness, and also, by chance, happens to be populated with only disgustingly ugly women. Where the pair finds out, after an unfortunate series of events and much sticky, disgusting happenstance, that the only man in the dilapidated village is a fat pig of a fellow named Kurt, who, when confronted by Ryan Sinclair physically and kicked out of his home, when ordered to find him, and I quote, some damn britches. I don't think I quote that correctly, but surprise attacks Ryan and Sam outside the man's home, resulting in Ryan covered by ugly, disgusting women hitting him with utensils, and Kurt himself bashing him with a long, dark object, very phallic in nature, while John Johnston, Sam the man, is knocked to his feet, to hit to the ground, and curled up in a ball, getting stabbed in the rear areas by something repeatedly, and is pushed so far into his emotions that he ends up casting another spell and launches a fireball, and that is where episode 2 ends. I believe we're all caught up now.
I believe we are all caught up.
That was good, bro. That was 5 minutes.
God damn. That was good. That was good.
Dude, that was off the top of my head too. That was no notes.
That was good. All I'm gonna say is, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate what we can, because when we get 50 fucking episodes deep, we ain't doing that shit.
Well, it'll be a lot more concise.
It'll be listen to previous episodes. Here we go. Anyway,
yeah.
Are we ready?
So, episode 3, the StoryForge podcast, episode 3.
As I lay with a sword in my stomach, a snarling, black, hairy mongrel of a dog munching on my right leg, and the hairy, fat, disgusting man that was Kurt himself beating me over the head with what I can only presume was some sort of medieval sex dildo. I tried to think of how my life ended up in this predicament. Yes, I had stolen. Yes, I had sometimes cheated on my ex-wife. Yes, I wasn't the best dad. But being stabbed in the gut, a wild, beast-like creature gnawing on my leg, and being slapped in the face repeatedly with a wet, moist sex toy was punishment enough. The dulcet tones of John Johnson, aka Sam the Man, rang just out my vision. That fucking stupid song, Fire, echoed, turning my head ever so slightly while I again got slapped in the face. I could see him getting attacked by a gaggle of hairy beings that were just maybe women. As the fireball grew bigger and bigger, the hole in my stomach grew oh so tense as Sam the Man, my savior, had his fucking eyes closed. Sa. Too late. He released the fireball blindly, and it was with a cry of surprise that Kurt leapt back, and I, not my attacker, was engulfed by flames. What a fucking prick. As Kurt laughed maniacally, don't know how to say that.
Maniacally.
There you go.
English, brother, English.
As Kurt laughed maniacally, I did what I could only do and pulled the soul out of my gut first. He came towards me, peering at me in disbelief as to how I was still alive. The dog had long shot off, running with singed hair wafting behind it, yelping for cover. How are you still too late? The sword in my hand slammed down into his left foot, making him utter a scream of pain, so shrill I could have sworn he burst one of my eardrums. Stuck to the ground, he tried to move, but with every inch that he moved, the wound in his foot opened larger and larger. I looked to Sam as I tried to slap myself, roll, and put the flames out. But the more I moved, the more agony I felt as my skin bubbled and peeled and popped. Sam, a bit of Sam. I shouted to him and he...
I'm trying.
Something odd happened. As I began to heal, I slowly sat up. But whereas once the flames and the light and the glittering ball of magnificentness that was Sam would have extinguished after casting the spell, it only grew more intense by each passing second. Ah, fuck. Getting up to my feet as my burns healed slowly, and once again the clothes I had just borrowed collapsed off my naked body. I turned to Kurt, whose mouth opened and closed in gaping agony. You gotta help! Shut up! I punched him in the face with my still forming, healing hand, snapping his head back once. Cries from the women who had been stabbing Sam reached a critical point as they too slowly began to be engulfed by the light that expanded from my friend's body. Friend, I say. Running behind Kurt, I grabbed him as the pulsing light grew stronger and stronger, and oh shit. Throwing Kurt forward, I turned and began to run, but all too soon, an explosion of light, heat, and warm air washed over my body, flinging me forward and slamming me face first into the tree that I couldn't desperately avoid. Dazed, panicked, darkness slowly started to encroach.
I launched the fireball from my fingertips, and the moment before I saw it hit my companion, Ryan. Ryan? Yeah. Ryan, it swerved of its own accord. Wait, the moment before it hit the fat slob of a man attacking my friend, the burning ball of fire swerved slightly and arced right into my friend. But before I saw it hit, blackness overtook me and I lost consciousness. I don't know how much time passed. It could have been forever, it could have been a minute. But when I blinked my eyes open, there wasn't anything there. And by nothing there, I mean, it wasn't even a blackness. I know what it feels like to wake up in a strange place in total darkness and not know where you are. Shit, anybody who drank and drugged as much as I did in their life knows exactly what it feels like to wake up in a totally strange and unfamiliar situation without a shred of light to help you find out where you are. This wasn't that. This was a void. This was a void of nothing. I couldn't explain it more than that. Absolute nothingness. When I was a child, my favorite movie growing up was called The Never-Ending Story. It was a tale about a bullied kid who hid from his bullies up in the attic of a school and found a book that took him on an adventure. The enemy in that adventure was called the Nothing. That's what this was. It was nothing. I was nowhere. I couldn't even imagine how I knew who I was. Was I anything? And then a small pinprick of a light showed itself so far in the distance I imagined I was just making it up. Some trick of my whatever I was, trying to find some point or destination to latch on to, a reality of sorts. But I wasn't wrong. That light began to go brighter, bigger, closer. It came closer to me as I watched it, and the closer it came, the more real I become, until suddenly, the vast distance that I thought was between it and me was gone, and suddenly I was sitting in no longer nothing, but something. And why did I know it was something? Because that nothing, that darkness, was black. Such a pitch dark black that the only word to describe it was nothing. But now I was in the light. Everything around me was white.
Aching, groaning, slowly coming to my senses. The first thing that hit me was the putrid stink of burning flesh. Opening my eyes, I saw nothing but dirt. I could taste it. Ugh. Rolling to my back, where it had once been daylight, night had slowly crept forward. The stars above me was bright, like light bulbs. Or better yet, the roof of a Rolls-Royce car. I'd never seen them shine so brightly. Taking a moment, I breathed in and felt nothing but bliss. Lifting my hands to my face, I saw they had healed. It shocked me at how quickly, burning to death and being slammed face first into a tree, my body had recovered. A little voice in the back of my head wondered how far I could push its ability. Could I lose a limb? Would I grow a head back if I was beheaded? At the moment, the only things that I had suffered were burning because of my good friend Sam, the man, and being stabbed repeatedly. In the stomach, chest, luckily not the arse. But if our journey continued, then surely some things would try to enter that vicinity as well. Rolling to my hands and knees, I took in the scene around me and saw nothing but utter devastation. Everything was a burning crisp. The charred bodies next to me, were they? I took a staggered step up and walked forward to see that what were once those horrible women were now nothing more than just blackened bones and charred skin. I turned to where Kurt had been, and my mouth opened in shock at seeing a black outline of him against the tree that I'd smashed face first into. Well, he was now gone. Looking to Sam, I saw him still curled up in the fetal position with shit surrounded him. He had sorry, this gents.
Sorry, I'm just making fucking weird notions over here. Sorry.
He had defecated himself to extreme quantities. Looking around, there was nothing to clothe me. He was also naked, having burnt his clothes off. First things first, we needed clothes. Secondly, I needed to see if he was still alive. Choosing between his health and my nakedness, I walked towards him and checked his pulse. It was faint, but steady. Put him in the recovery position. I walked back into the hovel that was Kurt's place and quickly found clothes that fit me and women's clothing that would fit Sam. Dressing both of us as quickly as I could, I picked him up in a fireman's carry and thought about what to do. I was no medical expert. Hell, I didn't even barely knew first aid. All I could do was smash a man's skull in with my fists, and that was about it. Getting him the medical attention he needed was something that I just couldn't give.
In fact, that was his job, and the prick was unfucking conscious and slightly glowing like a goddamn fairy.
Walking with Sam slung over my shoulders, I escaped the compound that was Kurt's, not finding anything of value. No coins, no weapons, no nothing. The collection of sex toys in his room were varied and large, and to a large extent, but they wouldn't come to any aid, maybe, in the future. Walking past, I noticed a few shutters, a few curtains being pulled back as I made my way doggedly through the hovel town that this was. Finally, I came across a little girl who was playing in the dirt. Excuse me. She ignored me. Her make-believe stick figures playing in front of her. I walked a little bit closer. Excuse me, I need help. My friend's not too well, and her little beady eyes looked up at me. Help, you say? Taken back, I walked a few steps back. Every horror movie with little girls playing through my head. My friend just needs a little bit of help. If you could help me, point me in the right direction. You must have a doctor in this town, surely. She looked at me, still confused. Which doctor? Who, I said, again, still confused, looks after you're ill. She looked at me, confused. Which doctor? Taking a deep breath, I said, if you've got a boo-boo, who fixes it? Which doctor? Annoyed that I wasn't getting anywhere, I pointed towards the exit of the town. Will I find her going out? Does she live around here? The little girl looked at me, still confused, but pointed. At Oak Tree, at Big Tree, you find witch doctor. Nodding my head. Thank you. I walked past and stopped, then looked down. Shouldn't you be inside by now? It's late. Where are your parents? I asked. Dead, she answered before turning back. Eaten.
The bright white light, the pure example of all that was good in the world, slowly began to coalesce back into regular light. And when I could finally see again, I realized not only was I in my body once again, but I was in a room, specifically a room from my childhood. I recognized it immediately. It was the only place I'd ever felt safe. It was the kitchen, because that's where I ate. And when you're a little fat boy, the age of 4, your only solace was food. Where did you feel safe? Where you got the food. Every day after my evil stepmother, who was only 10 years older than my sister, who was 8, I almost said me. After a day of her, well, not to sugarcoat it, beating the shit out of my sister and I would flee every few hours into the very ample bosoms of our home cook, Miss Mariah. She would get there to our home at 5 in the morning and began cooking the entire day for the 40 members of my father's household and my bitch of a stepmother. She would make hundreds of pastries and cookies and cakes and all sorts of sweets that she would leave around for the staff to eat. Of course, being the employer's son, I had free run of the kitchen and I would just stuff my safe face all day. Well, that was where we were. And in that kitchen was Miss Mariah. All 5'5", 440 pounds of Southern aristocratic Paula Deen like goodness. And as usual, she was munching on a stick of butter and stirring something in a bowl with a large wooden spoon. Miss Mariah, I said, the voice coming out of my throat, that of 4-year-old me, not 37-year-old Sam the fucking man. That voice was 4-year-old Johnning Johningston. What the hell was going on? Oh, hey, little Johnny. Come, have a seat. I just made some fat bombs. Come, suck 'em down, you little fatty. Ha 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 ha. She always called me that, her pet nickname, Little Fatty. I walked up, and as I looked down, I was back to my 4-year-old little fatty self. I wobbled up to the middle of the kitchen counter and hopped up onto the stool that I always sat in. As usual, it took me 5 or 6 tries to get my bulk up over that 1-foot step. But as soon as I was seated, Miss Mariah put down a plate of fat bombs, which were basically sticks of butter with pancakes wrapped around them, covered in syrup. And I set to with a will. As I ate, Miss Mariah kept stirring her bowl of whatever it was and giving me her matriarchal, loving smile. I remembered it like it was yesterday. The pinched nose, the squinty eyes, the small downturn of her mouth. It all screamed love. And as I munched on that butter-wrapped pancake wrapped piece of butter and looked at that beautiful fat woman, it hit me. She didn't like me at all. She was feeding me butter, sugar, and fucking pancakes. I was 4. I spit out the poison knowing that this was not good for a child. I was a physical therapist. I was going to be a doctor. I wiped my mouth off and glared up at the fat woman whose pinched face had shifted into a demonic leer. Oh, figure it out, did you little butterball, porcupine, fatty, fat? Figure it out? What's the matter with you? You were the one person in my whole childhood that I remember being there for me. You were the one person I could count on, the one good memory I have of the most horrible time of my life. The longer I spoke, the bigger and deeper her leer became. As the words left my mouth, her big, fat, disgusting body began to grow larger and larger and transform. And with a quick flash of darkness that sucked the entire light out of the room, seeming to take my consciousness with it in an instant, yet flash back out, and I was back inside, not even my body, not even realizing, not even capable of wondering or acknowledging if it had even happened. Gone was Miss Mariah. In her place was a 2.5 foot tall, yet perfectly proportional person, dressed in medieval Joker fare? What the hell are you? Me? Well, the little person replied, spinning and jumping in the air as stardust and sparkles shot out of its feet and it floated up to over to my 4-year-old face. My name is Loki. You might have heard of me from such hits as Norse mythology, the Marvel Universe, and other smaller roles, but there's too many to name. I don't think I'll tell you at the moment. Now, he held his little fingers up to my face and snapped. Immediately, we were gone from the kitchen of my childhood, and I was floating above the earth, looking down at me on Ryan Sinclair's back as he trudged along the world we appeared in. I'm done.
Carrying the little shit was not a problem to begin with. But as the hours slowly passed and my feet became numb, dear God, why couldn't I find shoes? There was nothing I could do but trudge my cake-covered soles one step at a time. Ryan mumbled something to me. Huh? Are you awake? Mariah, butter me up, Mariah. Huh? Ryan, he had slipped back into consciousness, leaving me once again alone and cold, walking this forest path. Wolves and other animals that made no sense cried in the distance. Every so often I could feel that itch behind your back when someone was stalking you, someone was watching, waiting for the pristine moment to attack. My head switched, turned from side to side, trying to encompass everything. But shadows leapt at me, leaves rustled in the wind, and a faint smell of Earth filled my nostrils. There it was again. I stopped, turning left to right. Stupid me didn't ask the little girl how far this witch doctor was. I'd been walking now for a good 2 to 3 hours, I think, and I'd yet to see anything but trees, heard anything but animals, and felt anything but the cold along my nether regions, and Sam the man dribbling down my back. Continued to walk, I stopped, as out of the shadows emerged three figures. I turned my head and two more came from behind me. Arms crossed in front of their chests, they glared at me as the hilts on their hips caught the moon. Oi, oi, what have we got there then? Said a tall brown one, walking forward. I squinted my eyes as his hair reflected ever so beautifully. Is your hair silver? I asked. What of it? Is that dye or natural? He dismissed my comment and kept on coming towards me, stopping until he was a good 6 feet away. You know what this is, son? I looked at him confused. A patch of dirt in a fucking forest? Nah, this, my friend, is my town.
Sam mumbled from my shoulder. Gay.
Sam mumbled something cancelable on my shoulder, which I ignored. Something about a Diddy party? I don't know. What I did know is that while looking around at these 5 or more fools, my hands just reached in the air as the annoyance of the last 48 hours slowly made me madder and madder. This is your town. A patch of fucking grass and some trees. This is your town. Well, not exactly my town, is it? It's more my land. What's your land called? He looked at me, taken back by surprise. What you mean? What's your land called? He gave me a disgruntled shrug. I don't know. My land, innit? Your land. Well, as you can clearly see, dickhead, I am not even fully clothed. And my partner, who's unconscious on my back, is wearing women's clothing. So if you'd be so kind as to move along so we can continue our journey, everyone can go home happy and uninjured. The leader took another step, silver hair glistening in the wind. I don't like your tone, son. Deep breath, Dom. Deep breath, Ryan. Deep breath. Sorry, we've just brought the fourth wall.
And Dom and Gabe stood against the darkness together.
Deep breath, Ryan. Deep breath. Listen, my friend. It's been a long night. I've been burnt, stabbed, slapped in the face with a sex toy, chewed on by a dog, and I just want to... and set on fire, and I just want to make my way to some witch doctor. Now, if you can point me along the way, I'd be more than happy. If not, I suggest you move before I shove that sword up somewhere. The words were not taken kindly by the silver fox as he moved another step forward. I don't like your tone. You ain't from round here, are ya, son? If you were, you'd know. Or Merc doesn't take shit from no one. Merc? What kind of name is that? It's a name I had enough. Fist flying forward, I punched him in the throat and watched as he gagged, hands on knees. Followed up with a chop behind the head as I grabbed his ponytail and drove my knee repeatedly in his nose. 1, 2, 3. Blood poured from his blood poured from the broken limb as I kept on kneeing him until something finally gave way and it felt like I'd need a bag of broken glass. Holding him up, his unfocused eyes tried to take me in as I slapped him again and again. Oi, oi, wake up. Oi, 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 oi. Listen to me. And listen good. I'm only going to say this once. If you do not want me to shove that sword where the sun doesn't shine, I suggest you... A war cry behind me sounded. It's going to be one of those nights, I said to myself. Dropping the silver fox down on the ground, I kicked the man who was rushing behind me, making him double over in pain. 2 more came from behind me. With no weapons in my hand, I grabbed Sam the man and swung him like a doll. His skull clattered theirs, knocking them down to the ground. Oh, I thought, it's okay. He's already unconscious. The damage has been done. Swinging him around and around, I caught 2 more straight in the jaw before the leader got to his feet and screamed at me, bloody murder. I'll make you pay for this! He came at me, sword in hand, and ran me through. He stopped. They all did. As I grinned a bloody grin. Grabbing his hand, I pulled the knife in closer as I inched towards him. Is that all you've got? He looked at me, eyes wide. I grinned even wider. Thought so. Pulling back my head, I headbutted him square in the jaw, where he collapsed on the ground. The others around me took tentative steps back as I slowly pulled the blade out, trying not to grimace and grunt and show the pain on my face. Why, oh gods, why did I have a healing ability, but I could still feel every inch of the blade coming out of my stomach? Slowly taking it out, I lifted it up as my silver fox attacker was face down, arse up. Making eye contact with everyone, I held the blade above his nether regions and slammed it down. Stopping. A good 3 feet of the blade had entered his rectum, stopping only as it came out the other side, pinning him to the ground. His screams echoed throughout the lands, causing nocturnal birds and creatures to flee in panic. I looked round as his friends, colleagues, men in arms looked at me in shock horror. What did I say? Slowly bending down, I picked up Sam the man and slung him over my shoulder. His drooling getting slightly worse. Now, I said to the group, if any of you do not want what's happened to him, I pointed to the ground at the now wriggling form of my attacker, to happen to you, then I suggest you lot Fuck off. They looked at me in panic, screaming. Ah! I grabbed the closer one to me and halted his escape. Before I let you go, I need directions. Directions to the witch doctor. I don't know. For every lie you tell, a finger will be broken. Now, directions. Witch doctor. Which way?
So, what you're telling me is your name is Loki. Same guy, same god as I'm thinking of. The world we're in is called Gaia. And I'm your representative on Gaia, your hero. I asked the floating, chibi god that was next to me as we stared down at my companion Ryan beating up a group of most likely homosexual elves as we watched from 2 dozen feet in the air in the form of 1 foot tall, opaque, anime like Japanese characters. If I hadn't believed Loki's pronouncement of being a god earlier, the fact that I looked like a reject from a Naruto animation reinforced his position. I had no choice but to acquiesce. The whole time we sat there staring down at Ryan, Loki explained in very simple terms, as if he were speaking to a child, which I guess compared to a god I was, still his tone and demeanor irked the fuck out of me, that the pair of us had been summoned to Gaia, one, me, by him, and Ryan by another god, one whom Loki didn't want to name as there was some kind of code between gods or something. I didn't quite understand. It was very, very technical, and at that point, Ryan had yanked the sword from his stomach and headbutted the silver-haired Hershey Highway pirate and begun yelling like a psychopath. Loki paused in his explanation and chuckled, giving me a look. I've always loved a good gay joke, before continuing on with his explanation of why we were here. For some reason or other, Loki was quite vague about. Something called the Nothing had come to Gaia and was eating the world, and the gods and goddesses of the world had no power to stop it. So, in usual summon the hero fashion, here comes Ryan and Sam. Loki had finished his explanation just as Ryan finished bullying, there was no other word for it, bullying the thugs who had tried to rob him, and had picked my body up, which was looking a little worse for the wear now. I could still see the puncture wounds in my backside through the delicate women's sundress that my questionable partner had dressed me in. I know we didn't have a lot of options, but the fact that he'd picked something in his favorite color and style made me think twice about our relationship. Loki and I floated above the man as he stomped along, cussing my name, his ex-wife's name, the world's name, and everything else below us. It was funny how unintelligible the English accent became, the harder the swears sounded. So, okay, let me get this straight, I asked Loki, as Ryan let out a particularly interesting concoction of words that had me pause mid-thought.
Goddamn son of a bar!
Well, that could have been better. I Okay, so my power is that whatever song I sing, it gives me a magical ability attached to that song. So you're saying I can only cast magic spells if I'm singing. I shouted in my chibi squeaky chipmunk voice at the god floating beside me. You can also dance and hum too. Those help, he replied, completely deadpanned, as if he didn't realize I wanted to strangle the life out of him more and more by the second. Okay, well, be that as it may, that's my power, that's what it is. Is there mana? Is there key? Is there anything? Do you have like a tutorial that Ryan and I can look at? I mean, you just summon us to this world out of nowhere, throw orcs at us, and expect us to walk around and just figure shit out? I hissed at the little godling. He stared at me blankly for a moment, blinking as I turned redder and redder, my anger going from red hot to cooled embarrassment the longer the silence continued. Till he finally answered, "What did you expect? Some kind of video game?"
Ryan was still dribbling on my back, as in the distance I could see what I could only describe as a fairy tale witch's shack greeted me in the distance. Wonky roof, chimney crumbling, windows with shutters on them, glowing plants and flowers gracing the front lawn or garden, and weird-like creatures whose eyes reflected the moonlight staring back at me the closer I got. With each footstep, fear took hold of me. It was the first time since coming to this world, Gaia, that I felt anything resembling it. The anger, the rage, the pain had all washed that away. But now, walking up to this house, which just felt ominous, it chilled me to the core. A cry in the distance halted my footsteps. It was different than before. More like a child wailing in pain. The fuck am I doing here? The thought part crossed my mind to just throw Ryan at the front steps and bolt it. Sam the man at the front steps and bolt it. But as we were in this together, and he was my physical therapist, although setting me alight, I swallowed what I felt and kept on walking. Fist raised to the door. I went to knock when the door opened with a squeal of unoiled hinges. What greeted me was nothing but confusement. A voice echoed in the dark. "Welcome, dear. I've been waiting for you."
"Now wait, listen closely. I have to go," Loki told me, as Ryan went to step forward across the threshold of the witch's cottage. He's about to enter the domain of his goddess. Yeah, you got a goddess, bitch. I have no power there. Remember everything I told you. And also, remember this. You are both companions, yes. You're both from the same world and you may have the same goals. but you may not have the same interests. Be careful what you relate, as information is power, as we know. I'm not saying don't trust him, but just remember, Loki, Loki said, waggling his finger at me. Now, I'm going to send you back to your body, and with a parting gift. You said, as a child, you were Sam the Man. Miss Mariah, he began, his face taking on that demonic leer again, and his body shifting back to the extremely morbidly obese woman. You said you're Sam the Man, so Sam the Man you are. My little chibi floating chubby body flew back down, smashing into my real body, I guess, that was on Ryan's back, and immediately I felt like I was back inside and began to convulse, shaking and gyrating on my friend's shoulders. Before he could step over through the door, the weight and strength of my convulsing caused him to step back, and I fell to the ground, my body curling up into the fetal position and beginning to glow, glowing so bright and turning so hot that Ryan had to step back, unable to get more than a foot away from it. Hold on, Sonny. Don't go there. Don't touch him, a voice from the shadows said. Ryan stopped as he reached out to grab me, and he looked back. He'll be fine. Let him alone. He has a little bit of growing up to do.
The voice in the cottage nailed my soul to the wall. Leave him be, dear. Your conversation is with me and me alone. He'll be fine. Now, step over the threshold. Let us discuss your path and future.
My body began to glow even more and then rise from the ground. It began to shrink and grow and shrink and grow until it became a ball of glowing light floating on the porch.
I stood confused until the voice reassured me. Trust the process, dear. All your answers are over this threshold. What I offer will change this world and yours forever. And with that, ladies and gents, we are done for today. That was a fucking good one.
I enjoyed that so much, dude. Good fucking job, bro.
That was
compared
fine.
To Saturday. And dude, the end that worked. It worked. I don't care what anybody says. It was fun. It worked well. I'm enjoying the fuck out of it. That was great. That was great.
Well, that was the best one yet.
Seriously, I'm gonna put us out of. You know what? I'll leave us in this mode. Let me put on. Do you have any songs or anything you'd like to hear?
That's
as
cool.
we do the exit out. As we do the exit out.
But something fantasy. As my wonderful co-host is looking for the right song, tell us what you thought about this. Did you like it? Please leave a review, subscribe, comment, share, like, all that shit podcasters say. We're not podcasters, as you all know. We are authors. We are having a blast. We weren't too sure about this to begin with, but the more this is only our third one, and the more we do it, I think the smoother it's getting. I can't wait for episode 20. It's also, well, I know about me and Gabriel have talked about this off air, but it's also forcing our creative chops. And just this is how stories used to be told over the fireplace, back and forth, just being discussed orally, and just being embraced by the community. So, like I said, this is something completely new, completely off the wall. I hope everyone enjoys it. What do you think, my friend? Before
I am 1 second. I am
so while he still does that,
I was just checking the chat
Go.
to see if anybody's
Anything?
yeah. Well, we got a follow by Douche Canoes. I don't know, that's probably one of your friends. I
I
feel like
don't know who that is. I don't feel that. No. Wait,
Douche,
just
douche
Kadoosh.
canoe. Douche canoe sounds somebody that'd be like your buddy from like you hang out with. He's like, bro, I got a douche canoe here. Fucking,
No, no,
we
no. Is that
we do BJJ together.
what is that? Is that on Twitch? Kick. Is
Kick douche
Kick.
canoes.
Hey, Dushkanu, what's up, brother?
Yeah.
Or
We got
madam,
or whoever they
or
them this
whoever.
that. We got a Geeko. That was no, that's all. We got
Yeah,
2
yesterday.
viewers on Twitch, and then in the YouTubes. Let me look on the YouTubes. If we got any words. Let me see. Here we've got
We got anything?
stream.
Oh,
And no, we don't
anything?
really have
No,
anything going. I mean,
no worries.
yeah.
Any last words before we go? Anything before I wrap up?
Yeah, man. Sorry, I forgot some outro. That was great, bro. I think that's good. The story went well. I think we got a better flow going. I
Yep.
think it's fun. I think we're figuring it out. I think we're only gonna get better. Once again, if anybody that watches has any suggestions they'd like to, and by suggestions I mean like, you know, your camera angle sucks or your fucking microphone do this or whatever little things that might help. That's cool. We're all for it. Also, like if you'd like to see something in the next episode, like hey, it'd be cool if you did this or this. You know, we'll think about it and see if we can put it in there. And then also the name, we need book names. So if you want to be in the story,
we still need a book name. If you want to be in the story, give us your best book name and we'll pick at the end of this. I think we're thinking of taking book 1 till about 20 episodes. Maybe we might go longer. Who knows? It might be 30, 40 episodes. In that time, we do need a title. The winner of that will have a character named after them, a reoccurring character. But yeah, as always, you can find my good self, Dominique Mondesir, everywhere that is social media, apart from, I was going to say Twitter, X. Find me on Instagram, find me on Facebook, find me on YouTube. Also find me on Twitch. Shortly, I'll be on Kick, all on the Dominique Mondesir. Please, I've got a book coming out in September, Echoes of a Lone Wolf. Please pick that up. Please, please, please. Over to you, my friend.
and thank you for watching the StoryForge podcast, episode 3. I am Gabriel Rathweg, co-host and author, amazing writer, talented, phenomenally gifted, and wonderfully entertaining. If you are in the mood for a wonderfully amazing book by a talented writer, if you feel like reading something, you can check out my books on Amazon.com. I Am Gamer, 5-book series, Gabriel Rathweg. From Chef to Crafter to Conqueror, 5-book series by Gabriel Rathweg. And this October, I'll be releasing book 6 in that series, From Chef to Crafter to Conqueror. And I'll be re-releasing a series called Warrior Academy. I will be re-releasing a series called Warrior Academy. This epic music's got me like, boom. Like, yeah, let's go.
We need this epic music. This epic music next episode. Just
Well,
fucking go!
Well, we gotta bring the energy. But with those books, I am currently in the process of finishing up a book called Mercenary Reincarnated as a Chef. It is a 3-book series for Athon Books. I'll be done with that this Friday, I imagine, because I also am streaming my writing every day between 10 and 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for an hour or 2 or more every day, showing how I write books. Everybody always asks me, how do you write a book? I hop on the computer, turn on the fucking camera, start writing, and I put 2,500 words out every day, 500 words a half hour, 2,500 words a day, every day. And with that, by doing that, I'm able to put a book out every 40 days, or finish a book every 40 days. There's the editing, re-editing, and all the other stuff. But yeah, if you want to watch me write a book, log on to my Twitch or Kick or YouTube stream. And follow me on social media. I think we're linking all the stuff. StoryForge Podcast, glrathweg.com. And check out my buddy Dom's books. They're awesome. Dom's awesome. And yeah, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. See you, folks. And ta-da!
Ta-da! Ta-da! Ta-ta!